practice aimed at reducing sacroiliac pain and promoting stability in the sacroiliac joint. We're going to work with strengthening the muscles that surround that area, and also with working to gently reseat a sacroiliac joint which may have slightly unseated itself. It's actually fairly common, and there's a couple of very gentle, safe ways that we can work to see if we can find a little bit more ease in that region. So we're going to start by coming into a tabletop position. So wrists, elbows and shoulders are stacked and knees are directly under the hips, and your knees are hip width apart. And we're going to take, I'm going to come further forward here so you can see my leg. We're going to take one leg up, so it's parallel with the floor, flex the foot, make sure you're not opening that hip out to the side, keep both hip bones pointing down towards the floor. And then we're just going to very gently, with the toes pointing towards the floor, pulse up and down, just a couple of inches, or let's do that 8 times, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're going to turn the toes out just about 10 degrees, and pulse again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and bring that knee back to the mat. You can probably feel your glutes starting to activate. That's really important for supporting the sacroiliac joint. So let's do the other side. Leg parallel with the floor, toes pointing down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, toes turn out just 10 degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and replace the knee. Take a moment to go back into child's pose just to release the glutes out. And then we'll repeat that. So back up to all fours. Extend the right leg, toes pointing down. Keep your breathing just steady and even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Toes turn out slightly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And over to the other side. Toes down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Toes turn out slightly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And your knee back onto the mat. And just take your hips back to your heels for a moment in child's pose. Just release that work. And fold your arms and rest your forehead on your back of your hands or on the mat if that's comfortable. Couple more breaths here. And then come down onto your front. Lie on your stomach. Have your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Elbows hug towards the waist. And we're going to do some variations of locust pose. So first of all, we're going to have the feet hip distance apart, toenails flat on the mat, forehead to the mat. And then as we inhale, we're going to lift the chest, not using strength of the arms, just using strength of the back, and lift the legs. And exhale down. Inhale, slow and full, coming up. Exhale down. We're going to do 6 more. 3, inhale up. Exhale down. 4, shoulders be relaxed and soft. 6, 7, and then on the 8th one we're going to stay up, inhale up. I'm going to move our feet in and out, so towards each other and away from each other. Keep your breathing just nice and smooth, not moving with the breath, just full steady breathing. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and release. Turn the head to one side. Just take a moment. And then for our next variation, we're going to come up again and we're going to make little figures of 8 with your toes. So it's as though you've got a pencil on the end of your big toes and you're drawing a figure of 8. So let's inhale, lift the chest, lift the legs, and then making little figures of 8, both legs at the same time. See if you can keep your legs straight, knees off the mat as far as possible. Take 2 more. And release down. Inhale, push yourself up to all fours, and exhale, back to child's pose once more. And when you're ready, we're going to come up and transition onto our backs. And lie down. Now we're going to have legs parallel, so they're hip distance apart, and we'll reach firmly into the heels, so see how my toes are pointing up to the sky. Flex your feet really strongly. Reach into the heels, it's like you're pushing your heels away from you. And then put your hands just inside where your hip bones are. And what we're going to do is imagine that there's a sandbag on your shins and you are going to try and lift it up, but the sandbag is so heavy that you actually can't. So reach really firmly into your heels and then make as if you're trying to lift your legs up. And release. So you should feel some activity underneath your fingertips there. That's your transverse abdominis muscles. They're really important for stabilising the whole lower back and sacroiliac region. So we're going to do that 7 more times. I'm going to inhale with the feet on the mat, and then exhale as if you're trying to lift your legs away. Nothing to actually see. All the activation is happening underneath your fingertips. Inhale, release. Exhale, making as if to lift. Inhale. And again, 4. Exhale. Inhale. If you want to work a little bit harder, you can start to lift the heels away from the floor, but keep your calves in contact with the floor. Exhale. Inhale. 6. Exhale. Inhale. 7. Exhale. Inhale. Last one. Exhale. Really reach into your heels. And inhale, release. Good. Okay, stay on our backs. And and you're going to bend your knees, and I just want you to notice where you feel the back of your pelvis connect with the mat. Can you notice that one side feels like it's digging into the mat more than the other? If you can, that's the knee that we're going to work with first. That's the leg we're going to work with first. If you can't feel any difference, we'll just go with the right leg. So either the side that's digging into the mat more, or just your right leg, you're going to bring in towards your chest. Interlace your hands around the front of the knee and have your arms straight. And then extend the other leg out. Again, reach into the heels. And we're going to work with lifting that extended leg just a few centimetres off the mat. I'm going to move it side to side and up and down, and side to side and up and down. This is going to help to reseat any slippage in the sacroiliac joint. So, ready? Breathing is just smooth and even. Let's lift that leg, and we're going to go side, side, just a few inches each way, up, down, side, side, up, down. So if you imagine that you're using your foot to point to numbers on the clock, it's as if you're going 3, 9, 12, 6. Keep going for about 10 more seconds. And release. Both feet back onto the mat. And let's take it to the other side. So other knee comes into the chest. And then interlace your hands around that knee. Extend the other leg out. Reach into the heels. And then when you're ready, lift that extended leg. And we go 3, 9, 12, 6. 9, 12, 6. Keep that movement. Another 20 seconds. Let the breathing be smooth. Notice if you've started to catch hold of your breath. And release that down. Take both feet onto the mat. And just notice if there's any difference in how the back of your pelvis feels. There may be, there may not be. And the next thing we're going to do is imagine that on the back of your pelvis there's a saucer. And I want you to imagine that you're trying to roll the edges of the saucer around the floor. So what that's going to look like is your pelvis is going to tilt up towards you, and then around to the left, and then away from you, so there's a little arch on your back, around to the right, and then back towards you. So join me, and just rolling around. It can be helpful to keep your fingertips on those frontal hip points, just so that you can feel that rolling around sensation. That should be about 3 rotations. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then let's take it back in the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, The sacroiliac joint is a form closure joint, which means that it's got like a little jigsaw pattern between the iliac bone of the pelvis and the sacrum itself, which is the triangular bone. And they sort of fit together if you put your two knuckle fists against each other. They kind of fit together like that. And sometimes, if either through daily activity or through a jolt, they can slip very slightly. And so what these couple of little floor exercises are going to do is just help them to re-establish their conversation with each other, and it can really be quite effective in just helping them to reseat. So we're just going to do one more like this, and what I want you to do is imagine that somebody is standing by your feet and they've got their hands on your knees and they're just gently pushing your knees. They're not grabbing you back and forth, they're just gently giving you little pushes. And how would that feel? Well, it feels a bit like you're rocking, doesn't it? So if you can recreate that movement. And all you're really doing there is nodding the back of the pelvis back and forth. And again, it's just that little bit of pressure can just help to reseat the joint there. Nice and gently. Try not to use too much abdominal effort here. Imagine that somebody is actually just giving you little gentle pushes like you're on a swing. Do this for about 20 more seconds. It can actually sometimes feel quite soothing as well if you've got any soreness in the SI joint. And then come to stillness. And then just find your feet in that position where the bones of your legs are stacked in an A-frame, so there's no muscular effort needed to keep them there. And let your hands rest wherever they feel most comfortable. And just close your eyes. Just resting for a couple of moments. Become aware of any difference in how the back of your pelvis feels now. Your breath settle, and smooth and even, and full, soft belly. And your chest and belly expand fully as you inhale, and softening back as you exhale. And you can choose to rest there for as long as you like. There's just one more thing which I'd like to talk about, which is in your daily habits, and that is how you normally sit. So if you're happy lying on your back and ready to sit up, you can just listen to what I'm going to say. When we sit in a chair, on the floor, anytime we're just sitting upright, we really need to make sure that the lower back isn't rounding. Just generally, there's good back health, but particularly if there's any problems with the SI joint. So what you want to do, anytime that you're seated, is put a cushion underneath the back of your pelvis, so it's underneath the back half of your buttocks. And what that's going to do is tip your pelvis forward slightly, so that it reintroduces the natural curve of your spine, and that's really going to help to protect the health of your sacroiliac joint and get you out of pain and back into a healthy lower back. Hope you found that helpful. Namaste.